Onjalala, Onja Toroto, Oluyole FM, Okile Leti. Oluyole FM Obaradogba Kirisin bí ọmọ àwélé ó já gàràgà ní fara olùkọ́yìn tètò tó ń ti ròyìn ní yùngbà ajídára bí ìṣù ẹ̀lú fi ká fábẹ́lá tẹ̀ 98.5 FM ìkòkò ọbẹ̀ fún gbogbo ẹlẹgbẹ́ tó kù máa gbọ́ lọ.
Èyíkéyìí ọkọ̀ tó bá ń wà ó nílò ààbò tó péye. Máa dágunlá jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Kíbikíbi tó bá wà ló fún ojú lọ́wọ́. Bóyá sọ pé jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Mobile ní ṣúlẹ̀ ọjọ́. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Lọ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Ẹ̀gbọ́n bó nílùú mi ṣe ń wí.
Pé kí ni?
Ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti gbọ́? Ó ti gúnlẹ̀, ó ti kalẹ̀ sí gbàgede iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS bàbá kérésì ilé akéde lóríta Basọ̀rún nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn 5,000 naira péré làwọn ọmọdé fi ń wò ó mọ̀jọ́ péjù máa kó wọn bọ̀ ní gbàgede iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS káwọn náà wá gbádùn ẹ̀mí ara wọn lópin ọdún. Bàbá kérésì ilé akéde tó dé pẹ̀lú òbítíbitì ẹ̀bùn láti ilẹ̀ Róòmù gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ti ń fowó wò ó owó tí ògùn pa tó ṣeé ṣe fàájì fọmọ 5,000 naira péré sì ni ẹ lè pe alága ìgbìmọ̀ bàbá kérésì àjọkọ bí ẹni yẹn lẹ́dùnmarè hallelujah 0811-620-0150 0811-620-0150. ìwọ náà mọ́ tẹ́tì láti jẹ́ kọ́mọ rẹ náà jẹ́ gbádùn yìí torí wípé pọ́ọ́kú lówó ẹ̀ lágbára ọlọ́run lágbára elédùnmarè àwa náà jèrè àwọn ọmọ yìí o.
àmì òjèjì rédíò tí ó láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM àwa ni bàbá.
Oluyole FM 98.5. Oluyole FM 98.5.
Looking for the best in news, sports and entertainment. We got everything you need and so much more. Yeah.
98.5 FM. Oluyole 98.5 FM.
Hear it all. To your dial to the #1 station. Educative and quality information. Brighten up your day in so many ways. Tune to 98.5.
Oluyole 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM. Oluyole 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM. Oluyole FM 98.5.
The time is 6 o'clock on Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ibadan.
The news.
Good evening. This is Tabitha Komalafe. Reading with me is
Idowu Shekoni. Good evening.
Bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. Reps hold special security session with foreign delegations.
CBN retains interest rate at 27%.
Southwest governors renew call for state police.
And on the foreign scene, Pakistani airstrike kills 9 in Afghanistan.
Now the details. The House of Representatives on Tuesday held a special plenary session dedicated to Nigeria's national security challenges, admitting into the chamber a delegation from St. Kitts and Nevis led by its Speaker, Lenin Balshet, as well as representative from the United States Embassy. The House is expected to receive a consolidated internal assessment prepared by relevant committees, including security incidents, trends, oversight findings, and implementation of previous resolutions, as well as evidence-based presentations by committees on defense, national security and intelligence, police affairs, human rights, interior, foreign affairs, women affairs, youth development, and emergency and disaster preparedness. At the end of the session, a formal resolution summarizing agreed actions, timelines, and oversight mechanisms is expected. In his opening remarks, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, stated that Nigerian sovereignty is not negotiable, while being mindful of the long-standing relationship with the United States. Abbas expressed the House's willingness to collaborate with the U.S. government on areas affecting Nigeria's security architecture. He also disclosed that the House is giving thorough consideration to the proposed Religious Freedom Accountability Bill, noting that both Christian and Muslim communities have suffered targeted attacks from terrorist groups.
The Special Protection Unit of the Nigeria Police Force has ordered all officers attached to VIPs and beats nationwide to return to their bases. This follows a directive issued on November 23 by President Bola Tinubu, who ordered the immediate withdrawal of police officers assigned to VIP security across the country. In a memo signed by the commanding officer of SPU Base 16 in Lagos, Neji Veronica, and shared on Tuesday by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to the President, Bayo Onanuga, on X, all affected officers were instructed to report back before the close of business on November 24. Under the new arrangement, Tinubu said VIPs requiring security protection will now need to request armed personnel from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and the CDC rather than relying on police officers. The presidency explained that the move aims to boost police presence in communities, especially in remote areas where police stations are often understaffed and citizens remain vulnerable to attacks. To reinforce the initiative, Tinubu has approved the recruitment of 30,000 police officers nationwide, with plans underway to upgrade training facilities in collaboration with state governments.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has maintained the benchmark interest rate at 27%, extending its pause on monetary tightening. The CBN Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, announced the decision on Tuesday at the end of the committee's 303rd meeting in Abuja. Cardoso said the committee decided by a majority vote to maintain the monetary policy stance, indicating that members were not yet convinced that current economic conditions warranted another reduction. The move follows the 50 basis point cut implemented in September 2025, the only rate reduction since the tightening cycle began under the current CBN leadership. It also marks the fourth consecutive hold this year.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan, today swore in Professor Rahman Tella as the resident electoral commissioner for your state. The event, held at the Commission's headquarters, marked Tella's redeployment to your state and, according to INEC, forms part of ongoing efforts to strengthen electoral administration across the country. In a statement posted on its X handle, INEC said the ceremony was conducted with solemnity and purpose in line with Amokpiton's drive to entrench discipline, integrity and punctuality within the Commission. He reiterated his stance on electoral integrity, noting that the Commission's mission transcends regulatory duty and represents a moral and legal duty to Nigerians. The INEC chairman also charged Tella to ensure that voters in Oyo State have full confidence that their ballots will count, urging him to serve as a beacon of hope and democratic values. Responding, Tella expressed appreciation for the chairman's guidance, saying the honorable chairman's remarks are very much brimming with value and experience, and pledged to align his work with the Commission's vision.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Southwest Governors Forum has renewed its call for the establishment of state police and announced plans to create a Southwest Security Fund aimed at strengthening security, deepening regional development, and enhancing interstate cooperation across the 6 states of the geopolitical zone. Chairman of the forum and Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed this on Monday while presenting the communique issued at the end of a closed-door meeting held at the executive chambers of the Governor's Office, Agodi, Ibadan. Details are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Olalekan Sulaiman.
The Southwest Governors Forum meeting held in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, was attended by the host governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke, represented by its deputy Prince Kola Adewusi, Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, and Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji. Presenting the communique issued at the end of the meeting, the chairman of the forum and Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said that the leaders reviewed critical issues affecting the region, including rising security threats, agricultural development, economic stability, and regional integration. The forum announced plans to create Southwest Security Fund that will be managed by the Dunn Commission and supervised by the special advisors on security from all 6 states.
The forum agreed to set up a Southwest Security Fund, which will be set up under the Dawn Commission, and this fund will be administered by a forum of special advisors on the security of all the Southwest states, and they have been mandated to ensure that they keep on a monthly meeting amongst the 6 special advisors.
The forum, however, commended President Bola Tinubu for his laudable effort in combating insecurity and implementing economic reforms nationwide. The governors expressed solidarity with the federal government over recent security incidents in Kebbi, Niger, and Kwara states. The governor also approved the establishment of a live digital intelligence sharing platform that will enable real-time exchange of threat alerts, incident reports, and interstate security communication.
Forum commends the effort of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The forum commends the effort of our hunters, Amoteku members, and all other security agencies. Thereafter, the forum calls on the federal government to note the urgent need for enhanced forest surveillance across the Southwest states, and joined and called on the federal government to secure the vast forest belts that have become hideouts for all sorts of criminal elements.
Concerning unregulated interstate migration, the forum called for stricter border monitoring and collaboration with the National Identity Management Commission to ensure proper identification of migrants and prevent criminal infiltration. The forum further raised alarm over the rise in illegal mining activities, calling for a stronger licensing framework and tougher enforcement to curb environmental and security threats linked to unlawful mining operations.
On state police, The forum reaffirms its support for the establishment of state police. We're emphasizing that the time is now, and we pray that it should not be delayed any longer. The forum further looks at issues regarding agriculture, food security, and climate resilience. The forum wishes to acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of the federal government in providing food sufficiency. The forum in particular commends the various efforts of our farmers in the region for what we notice as increase in agricultural outputs and subsequent stability and reduction in food prices.
While reaffirming its commitment to working collectively to tackle insecurity and advance socio-economic development within the region, the forum urged residents to remain united and uphold the tradition of peace, religious tolerance, and social harmony for which the region is known. Oluyole Sulaiman, BCS News.
In preparation for the global commemoration of World AIDS Day, the All-State Agency for the Control of AIDS, OISACA, has reiterated its commitment to strengthening the fight against HIV and AIDS as it briefed journalists in Ibadan on activities lined up to deepen awareness, prevention and public engagement across the state. Our reporter, Damilola Daudu, was there and now reports.
As part of activities lined up for the 2025 World AIDS Day, the Oyo State Agency for Control of AIDS, OISACA, has called for the renewed commitment and collective action in the fight against HIV/AIDS, emphasizing prevention, awareness, and sustained support for the people living with the virus. The agency highlighted the significant stride made by the state in reducing HIV prevalence, while also raising concerns about new infections, particularly among young people. Addressing the press, the chairman OISACA, Dr. Bola Adetunji, noted that this year's World AIDS Day theme underscores the need for unity and accountability in ending the epidemic, stressing that the agency will intensify advocacy, scale up access to testing, and strengthen community-based intervention across the 33 local governments of the state. He explained that Oyo State has continued to prioritize HIV services through improved access to treatment and adequate awareness on transmission and prevention.
Over the years, we have made significant strides in increasing access to HIV testing, treatment, and care. Our state has recorded notable decrease in new infections, thanks to the tireless efforts of our healthcare workers, community leaders, and individuals living with HIV/AIDS. We have strengthened our prevention programs, focusing on education, condom distribution, and mother-to-child transmission prevention. We also thank the state government for the allocation of 10,000 OSHA insurance calls to our PLW.
Speaking further, the coordinating director, OISACA, Dr. Wale Falano, revealed that the agency will embark on statewide awareness works, HIV counseling and testing services, school outreach, media engagement, and community dialogue to deepen public understanding and reduce stigma. He urged people to prioritize their health, seek accurate information, and utilize available services, warning that ignorance and stigma remain major obstacles to ending AIDS.
Oyo State has a law in place since 2016 for stigmatizing. It is a criminal thing to do. So we need to be very careful. And there's a fine for it, and a jail term for it. So we need to be careful. So apart from that, we have been doing, like I said, we have been enlightenment.
The press conference also featured an interactive question and answer session where journalists sought clarification on the state HIV response, ongoing interventions, and plans for the year's World AIDS Day. as Oisoko official provided detailed response addressing issues around prevention, youth engagement, treatment access, funding, and community participation. As the state joins the global community to mark World AIDS Day, Oisaka reaffirmed its readiness to sustain advocacy and strengthen the health system towards achieving an AIDS-free generation in Oyo State. Damilola Daudu, BCOS News.
It was a moment of sober reflection and praises as distinguished personalities, clerics, families and friends of late Mrs. Idowu Adedoyin Mary converged on Emmanuel Baptist Church, Lafayette Okehu in Kajola local government area of the state to pay tribute in honor of the departed soul of their loved one. Late Mrs. Idowu Adedoyin Mary was the wife of an elder statesman, media expert and an ace broadcaster, Reverend Jeremiah Adedayo Idowu, a prominent fan of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS Ibadan. While quoting from Holy Bible, Reverend Timothy Olusoji Alaba, Pastor Gideon Oguntoyo, Evangelist Caleb Alaba, and others in the separate sermons underscored the importance of living a virtuous and impactful life. The preachers, while eulogizing Reverend Adedayo Idowu for his commitment and faith towards serving God, urged the gathering to live an exemplary life and uphold the tenet of the Lord Jesus Christ. Husband of the deceased, Reverend Adedayo Idowu, in a sermon, which eventually turned out to be a crusade, noted that people of faith like Pastor Kumuyi, Pastor Adeboye, and Chief Lekon Salami of the then RICC of blessed memory encountered challenges and tribulations as a result of the death of their loved ones. Still, they didn't deter from preaching the words of Christ in the course of the death of their loved ones, while admonishing the congregation to take precautionary measures of their faith and not to be deceived by fake ones parading themselves as men of God, stressed that there will be tribulations and challenges, but people should turn a new leaf. Children of the deceased, Mr. Oluwasheun Idowu and Ms. Toluwalashe Idowu, in their tributes dedicated to the departed soul of their mother, eulogized her for a life well spent.
We now join Victor Opuna in our sports studio for the latest news updates.
A warm welcome to you on the sports segment of the news tonight. I am Victor Opuna.
We start with the news that Real Madrid star Vinicius Jr. has reportedly told Real Madrid he will not sign a new contract as long as his relationship with head coach Xabi Alonso remains strained. With his contract running out in 2027, talks over a new contract have now stalled due to the Brazilian strained relationship with Real Madrid's new boss Alonso. Alonso was hired in the summer and has overseen an encouraging start to the season, but relations with one of his star players appear to be at a breaking point. It has been reported that 3 different sources have revealed that Vinicius brought up the matter in a private conversation. Barcelona say they are fully committed to combating gender-based violence amid criticism following a visit to the club by former Bayern Munich and Germany defender Jerome Boateng. Last week, the club posted a video on X captioned "Welcome to the Ciutat Deportiva, Jerome Boateng," in which Boateng was seen hugging and talking to former teammate Robert Lewandowski during training. Boateng was handed a €200,000 fine and a warning by a Munich court last year after he was found guilty of premeditated bodily harm against his former partner. The 37-year-old denied injuring the mother of his twin daughters during an argument on holiday in 2018 and had appealed against an initial guilty verdict in 2021. Last year's trial in Munich was the third on the case against Boateng. Barcelona posted a video of Boateng 2 days before the club first came back at their revamped Nou Camp Stadium in more than 2 years. Before the match, the club announced a minute silence would be held in memory of all those women killed by male violence to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. The video and subsequent announcement by the club attracted criticism on social media, with fans describing it as an embarrassment and ironic. And as we wrap up in tennis, Nick Kyrgios has signed up for the Kuyung Classic on Tuesday in a signal that the injury-racked star is planning a competitive comeback at the Australian Open. The Mercurial Australian has not played on the ATP Tour since March and barely at all in the 3 years after a series of career-threatening knee and wrist surgeries. But the 30-year-old showman has started the 3-day Kuyong Classic in Melbourne on January 13th to 15th rescheduled, a traditional hardcore warm-up event for the Australian Open starting 3 days later.
Thank you for joining us. It's a wrap on the sports segment of the news. Over now to the main desk for the rest of the news.
On the foreign scene, at least 9 people and a woman have been killed after Pakistani forces bombed a house in the country's southeastern coast province, according to Afghan authorities. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled details of this and other stories as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
Zabihullah Mujahid, the spokesman for the Taliban administration, said on Tuesday that the attack took place at midnight in the district of Gubuz. The latest attack comes as a fragile ceasefire between the two nations hangs by a thread, with each side blaming the other for the impasse in the negotiations. Other airstrikes took place in northeastern Kunar and eastern Paktika provinces. Mujahid said, wounding 4 civilians. There was no immediate comment from Pakistan. The attack follows a series of cross-border tensions, including recent suicide attacks in Pakistan claimed by the TTP, which Islamabad says is operating from Afghan soil. Relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan have been fraught since the Taliban swept back to power in 2021. Russia and Ukraine exchanged strikes overnight, killing at least 9 people, as teams from Ukraine and the United States worked on a ceasefire plan. Russian missiles and drones targeted Ukraine's capital for yet another night, killing 6 people. Officials in Kiev said on Tuesday, with other parts of the country also targeted. Emergency services earlier said 2 people died in a strike on an apartment building in the eastern Dniprovsky quarter. Meanwhile, Russian officials said 3 people were killed and at least 16 injured in a major Ukrainian drone attack on southern Russia. Residential buildings were damaged in the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk, Russian officials said. The Ministry of Defense in Moscow said that 249 Ukrainian drones were drowned over Russian regions overnight, including 116 over the Black Sea and 92 over the regions of Krasnodar and Rostov. And finally, China has rushed to launch an uncrewed spacecraft to relieve 3 astronauts left on board the Tiangong space station without a passage to Earth. State broadcaster CCTV showed a Long March 2F rocket carrying the Shenzhou 22 spacecraft lifting off from the Jiangquan Satellite Launch Center shortly after noon local time. The Shenzhou 22 mission was originally planned to be crewed and take off in 2026. However, the launch was brought forward after debris and damaged the Shenzhou 20, which is currently attached to the Tiangong station, making it unsafe for carrying humans to Earth. Bimbo Akombi, BCOS News.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The House of Representatives on Tuesday held a special plenary session dedicated to Nigeria's national security challenges, admitting into the chamber a delegation from St. Kitts and Nevis led by its Speaker, Lenin Blanchett, as well as representatives from the United States Embassy.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has maintained the benchmark interest rate at 27%, extending its pause on monetary tightening.
The Southwest Governors Forum has renewed its call for the establishment of state police and announced plans to create a Southwest Security Fund aimed at strengthening security, deepening regional development, and enhancing interstate cooperation across the 6 states of the geopolitical zone.
At least 9 people and a woman have been killed after Pakistani forces bombed the house in the country's southeastern coast province, according to Afghan authorities on the foreign scene.
That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Folashade Akintola and delivered by
Tabitha Komlafe
and Ido Shekoni. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
Unstoppable you, fueling your vitality the whole day through. Embrace each challenge with renewed light. With Super Ultra performance takes flight.
With 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, one Supermalt multivitamin after breakfast every day keeps you going.
Make I ask you the last question. Among the options wey I go give you, choose the one wey dey give better gaming experience wey person no fit forget. A, to dey use your data dey watch match early momo. B, dey listen to your uncle wey be ogbonge sports guru. C, Betano. The correct answer na Betano. No go tell yourself o, make you join the oga kpatakpata betting platform for inside Naija wey get different betting options, fast cash out, missions wey dey engaging, plenty jara features, and we go welcome you with bonus of 200,000 naira. Betano, the game don start. Bet responsibly, only for people wey don pass 18 years. Betano na proud partner of Aston Villa.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n bó nílùú mi ṣe ń wí.
Pé kí ni?
Ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti gbọ́? Ó ti gúnlẹ̀, ó ti kalẹ̀ sí gbàgede iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS. Bàbá kérésì ilé akéde lórí ìta Basọ̀rún nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. 5,000 naira péré làwọn ọmọdé fi ń wò ó. Mọ̀jọ́ péjú, máa kó wọn bọ̀ ní gbàgede iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS. Káwọn náà wá gbádùn ẹ̀mí ara wọn lókè.